What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be working on the Datsun truck. You can't see it, it's in the garage, but I don't even know why I did that. So anyway, I got a new welder, I got a bead roller, and we're gonna start cutting stuff out of the cab and see what we can do. First thing I gotta do though is I'm gonna show you the welder. This is what I got, an Eastwood MP200i. It is a multi-process welder. I've only used it for MIG so far, MIG's flux core, which is what I used to fix the 240 exhaust in the other video. But and it worked great, so I'm excited to use it on some more stuff and see how it goes. As you can see, it's 50 amps, runs off a 50 amp straight blade plug. Right now I have the MIG attachment hooked up. It came with the ground clamp. All that seems to work great. It's got some settings here. The spot weld function is amazing. Then we got wire feed, and then we got amperage and voltage. So we're going to do a review on this welder from a super amateur standpoint, which is me. But what I want to do is I want to get the gas part of it hooked up first so that we can try all the processes. What I did get today, and to kind of help organize some of this stuff, is a welding cart. So we're going to go ahead and bust that out and put that together. So there is the Eastwood welder on the new welding cart, and it looks fabulous. It fits perfect. Awesome. Now we got two other things to open. We got our bead roller, and I got this body and fender set. So let's go ahead and crack those open. Alright, so I got the cab uncovered. I don't know. I want to say it's, 50% in good shape. I don't really know. Obviously, everything on the top half is all good to go. Eventually, we're going to get rid of this panel here and make this a nice smooth thing with the door. We're going to cut these trim pieces off here so that this is nice and flush, fill in all these creases and stuff like that. This back part is pretty much good. Obviously, both of my windows are still sealed in. I don't know about the actual seal of those windows. They might need to be replaced. But so the biggest damage is obviously the floor pans, which is the first thing that's going to rust out on any car because it's lowest to the ground. It absorbs moisture, blah, blah, blah. The biggest section is that over there. So let's go around the other side. This hole in this side right here is a mounting point. So basically there is 6 mounting points for this cab. There's 2 in the back right about here underneath, which is good to go. There's not really much rust. There's a little bit at the bottom of the rear wall here, especially on that side. We can fix that up real easy. This hole is probably the worst spot. So what's going on here is there's a body mount here, and then there's also one right here in the front, which are also pretty good. This front end we're going to deal with a little bit later, because I think to make this engine bay look a little bit nicer, I think we're going to go ahead and cut all of this out. We're probably going to cut all of the firewall out and make a new firewall, and get rid of some of this old crap here and just clean this bay up really nice so that we got a really nice looking engine bay. I do have a color scheme for this car in mind already, by the way, but we'll figure that out. We'll get to that a little bit later. The good news is I have a spot on this side. So here is the cab mount for this side. And as you can see, this one's not in too bad a shape. I mean, it's pretty rusted up. Somebody has tried to patch this floor pan with some crap at some point in time. Obviously just didn't do it right. So yeah, the floor pans, the firewall, the tubs, I'm not really too concerned about at this time, because what I really need to do is I want to get the cab mounted back on the truck before we do the floor pans and stuff like that. That way I can build the trans tunnel and the floor pans and the firewall all together. That way we can make sure everything works with the motor and everything like that. And then we'll probably end up taking the cab back off to paint it and all that good stuff. So my original plan for this truck was to obviously just do as little as possible and get it running and be able to drive it. But since that's not going to happen before the winter, I think we're just going to go ahead and take our time with the cab and a little bit of the other stuff and make it look really pretty. So basically what we got to do today is we got to get some of this stuff cut out. Like I said, this back portion doesn't look too bad, so we're probably going to leave that. But as you can see, the seat mount on this side is pretty trashed. So we'll go ahead and get all that out. And so we're probably going to end up chopping it maybe somewhere like here and cutting all this out and doing new floor pans and everything like that. So I guess we're going to go ahead and start cutting and just see what we come up with. Alright, so I got a lot of the rust cut out. There's that far side. Here's the side we're at. So as you can see, there was a pinch point right here. You can kind of still see it here. And it came up and it kind of boxed this little section in. So that's the first thing we're going to have to repair. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to drill all these spot welds out, because I can pretty much see those along this lip. I had to cut the lip off of this edge because, first of all, I couldn't see the spot welds, and second, because some of the pinch point was rusted also. But for the most part, this edge of it is in good shape. There's a little dent right here. That side up in that corner right there is all dented up because of the body mount was so rusted out there. I believe it bent that metal underneath there. So we're going to have to try to reshape some of that, at least get it back to close as what it was, so that we can fix it with some body filler and stuff like that on the outside. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to box both of these rails in first. Well, we're going to finish cutting the rest of this rust out, because I want to incorporate some of this area into this piece we're going to cut here. And we're going to get this all boxed out, and then we're going to get a plate mounted back on here for our body point, and then we'll be able to remount the cab. Once we get the cab remounted, then we can start making the floor and the firewall and the new tubs for the front wheels and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're getting there. Definitely getting there. Made some good progress right now. And tomorrow, which is probably going to seem like 10 seconds for you guys, we'll get started on some of these frame rails and see if we can get some stuff made up, and maybe even get a piece tacked back in so we can see what it's going to look like. So yeah, let's get to it. So I kind of had to just put the camera down for a little bit and figure out what I was going to do, and this is what I came up with. So there's actually a little bend in this rail here. So I had a choice. I could either put the bend in that with 18 gauge, or I could use the 14 gauge sheet metal straight, and I ended up going with the 14 gauge sheet metal straight. So it's really strong. I think it's going to be plenty good enough for what we need to do. So what I did was I kind of messed up this gap a little bit. Obviously it's a little big. This piece should have been pushed up farther, but I already have most of it tacked in, so we'll just end up filling that. But what I ended up doing was I got this piece here, I cut it out to about our general shape. There's actually a lot left on the bottom here. Obviously you can see where the old pinch was, and I got this tacked in through our tack welds that used to be on this outer cab piece, and it's tacked in over here too. And then what I did was I took a piece of the thinner 18 gauge and I bent it on a corner and kind of tacked it up to the bottom of this, and then tacked it to our piece of 14 gauge, and that's what I got. Doesn't look very pretty right now, but it's strong and it will look pretty when we're done. We're obviously going to need to do a little bit of body work under there, but that's also the bottom of the cab, so nobody's really going to see it if it's not perfect. The important part is, again, strength, because this piece that we're putting in right now is what one of our body mounts to, and we want this piece to look good, which is, as you can see, still in good shape. It's really just this bottom piece that's a little rough. There was actually a dent here before anyway, so I kind of tried to hammer that out as best as I could, and yeah, we're in good shape. So what I have to do is I have to make another piece like this to bend to finish this part off, and then we'll start. Well, actually what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start making the body mount. So I didn't really have a body mount in here because both of these were rotted out, but once I find the old piece, let me look for that real quick. Here is what I have left of what used to be a body mount. There is rubber grommets that go in between here and the frame, so if it's a little bit bigger or smaller, we can probably make it work with some grommets and some washers anyway. But this is the piece that got cut off the side here. As you can see, it meets up right there, and here's where the mount was, right here where these two lines are. So, and then what that looked like, sit you down, is something like this was here. This is actually from the other side, but something like this was here, and it made just a little plate that stuck out. So we're going to use this and try to make us a new plate. All right, there we have it. One destroyed cab mount remade. So Obviously, we still need to final weld everything, and I still got to make my plate for the other side. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this gap right here that I messed up. But we're getting somewhere, and I like it. So I'm okay. You're not going to see half of this anyway, so I'm not really too concerned. As long as it's strong and it's going to hold my cab on, that's all I care about. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Leave comments. Last time I checked, we were at 96 subs, which for me is amazing. So when we get to 100, I think I'm going to do a little giveaway, maybe like a Dunkin' Donuts card or an Amazon card or something like that. So yeah, tell your friends, get that 100 subs, and we'll go from there. But again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.